What if every 3 out of every 4 appointments you do becomes a client? Hey guys, my name's Matt. I'm going to be helping you automate your fitness business. Now today I'm going to be going over some client results, but also the exact system how we took a coach of one of my clients from, closing at 30 to 40% to closing at 70 to 75%, even up to 80 some months, which is kind of insane and it's kind of unheard of. So there's a couple of things we need to go through first before we go through the actual system, just to get this out on the table and make sure that this isn't total BS. So this is the information here. We've got the coach's dashboard where in the month of February, I can show you some different months too, took 21 appointments, closed 17 deals. And if we look at the next month here, so February, I think it was a bit quieter, 14 and 9. Like that's, doing the math on that, I'm not too good at off the top maths, but 9 divided by 14 is 64%, so dipped down a little bit. So the first month was like 80, this one is about 64, but across the 2 months, it's about a 70% conversion. So the way that we look at this is, first and foremost, you need to have a really good offer. Now, if you don't have a really good offer in your business, then you're kind of in trouble because it's not something that your audience actually wants. So if you looked at like your actual product, are people interested when you get on a call? Is it something that changes the way that they look at potentially coaching? And if you don't have something like that, then the easiest way to set that up is literally look at your previous clients. And if you don't have any, then think about the people that you really want to work with. But look at your previous clients, maybe the previous 30 clients or so. What do they have in common? Is it a similar problem? Is it a similar attribute? Is it a similar location that they come from? Specifically find what they all have in common, because there will be something, because you will attract a certain type of person. And when you attract that certain type of person and you understand what kind of makes them tick, then you can drive an offer directly to those people, because it's not about landing everyone as a client. It's about landing the people who are perfect for you, because the people who are perfect for you will pay you more, they'll stay around for longer, and they'll be easier to sell. So once you've got that in mind, you really need to consider what your process looks like. So if you've got your offer, and I'm assuming that you do, which is great. However, you may just not be closing at the best percentage, or you want to add some systems in to improve your closing rate, then we'll jump in. Right. So first and foremost, the employee went through a fair bit of sales training. So he's now done, I think, close to 1,000 sales calls, which is a lot, right? And in the beginning, wasn't so great. Super introspective individual. Wasn't very good at asking the hard questions. And with time, has become significantly better at it. However, there's a couple of systems in place that really have driven the conversion rate, and that's what I'm going to go through now. So the easiest way that we can look at this is there's 2 major things that were brought into play. It's getting people on a call sooner than they anticipated, and the second one I'll go through after that. But what happens when these leads come in, right? Let me just bring it up here. Next page. This one here, cool. When these leads come in, the biggest thing is notifying the coach within 5 minutes, or notifying the salesperson within 5 minutes. And if we look over here, so we're waiting for a reply within 5 minutes, and did they book a call or not? If they haven't booked a call, the chances of you closing them significantly start dropping. I'd love to see the data on this, but if it's not within the first 5 minutes that you get a touch point, I've seen conversions of clients just drop from like that 70% to down to 30, 40. Now, the way that you can get on top of this is obviously during business hours, is having someone call them as soon as they apply, even if they do book a call. But when they do book that call, the kind of approach you need to take with this is pre-qualifying them. So when you do actually take the sales call, you have a better chance of closing them. So the biggest things you want to look for in the pre-qualification is, 1, are they in a position where they can dedicate 8 weeks to training? Like if someone's going to go on a holiday in 3 weeks for 2 months to Europe, they're probably not going to close. However, this may be a pressing issue for them and they might want to fix things before they go away on holiday. They're just probably not going to close. So look for any major obstacles within the first 12 weeks. The second one is look to see if they are financially capable of committing to a training program, right? If your client is said to you that they are on welfare or Centrelink and they've barely got any money to eat, however, this is a pressing issue for them, even though you really want to help them, they're probably not going to be worth the time putting into taking the sales call if they can't afford to actually pay. So really good ways you can ask questions to get that information is like, what are they currently doing for work? If they're unemployed, ask for how long they've been unemployed. And if they answer yes to both of those about being unemployed, then ask like, how are you surviving? Like, it's a pretty tough world out there, and they will naturally just give you that information. So 2 big ones there. And then the third one is just like, how much of an issue is this for them, right? So I usually look at asking questions. Well, I used to look at asking questions about, what have you tried in the past? How did that work? And, were you able to stick in it? And, how many times have you tried this? If you've got someone who's tried 15 times to lose weight and they're failing every single time, it's probably a big deal because they've got the ability to admit that they need a change. However, they just haven't got the right tools. And that's an obvious sign when someone's tried multiple times and then they actually haven't got there. So when it comes to those, that pre-qualification call, that's going to be the biggest thing that's going to lead to when you actually get on a sales call, getting a really high conversion rate is because you're only letting people through who are actually going to close, essentially. And it's a bit of a hack. Like you just spending 5 minutes figuring out if that person is actually going to close or not, and then only putting through the ones who actually will close, which is giving yourself an unfair advantage. But hey, in business, you need to take every single advantage that you can get. So when you're actually taking that call, this is the next part. So between that first call and the actual nurture sequence between then and the call with the coach, you need to deliver enough information that convinces this person that you are the right person for the job. Now, when someone inquires with online coaching, it's either through an ad, not these guys, but it's either through an ad, through content, long form, short form, whatever it might be. If you've got a podcast and the person's been listening to you for a long time, they're probably already convinced that you're the right person to help them because you probably gel with how you think. However, if it's short form content, they may not understand who you are on a bit of a deeper level. So your opportunity to use the time between your pre-qualification call and your booked call is you need to deliver as much information and enough results that you flip the tide in the person's mind that you're the right person to help them. So the easiest way that you can do that is by sending information that proves your point. So if we look at this here, so the subject line, your insoles are inside. When I say we get results, I outline, here's some of our girls' results so far. So if we just take a look at this, this link here, and we'll copy this and go here, it implies that someone's actually going to go through and check this, but the ones who are serious will actually go through and look at these results, which, it only takes one before and after picture to kind of look like them for them to start to believe that this is possible. And, a lot of people get these kind of results in 12 weeks. And it's easy to really start to shift that tide. Now, you got to think about how some people are. Some people are swayed by emotion. Some people are swayed by logic. So if you have, these testimonials before and after, they're very emotional. However, the person is logic based. You need to drive, more of a story where you can take the person on a journey and be like, this is where they were and previously, and this is where they are now. So the way that you can do that is through a story email, right? So if we have a look at this email here, it's about Nicole. She was a client of Limestone, and it goes through and lists off the biggest obstacles that she was fighting in the process, right? She was sick of misinformation from social media, terrified of the 6 p.m. packed gym, was fighting an uphill battle of achieving consistent progress. For years, Nicole slaved away at the newest fad programs. Right now, this is ticking off everything in the person's mind. They're like, yep, I was sick of misinformation. Yep, I was terrified to attend the gym. Yep, I'm fighting an uphill battle. Yes, I've been going at this for years, right? Wrestled with restricted diets, suffered in silence. And so long as you check off in their mind these things and then start to overcome them down the bottom with an email, the person will start to shift, right? So after countless failed attempts, she had no idea what was going to help her lead to a goal. Smaller waist and bigger glutes. Nicole found limestone. Nicole booked her call. Nicole found a Northern Star. Nicole walked her path to change. Now she understands that change, and coaches do blah, 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 blah. I can't believe I was doing this for so long. I wasted countless hours in the gym working with limestone, blah, 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 blah. So this year highlights the goal and the steps that she took to overcome these issues, right? So we're literally telling the person, this is your problem. This is your steps to overcome them, right? So take the person from A to B. Now, with that in mind, when it comes to actually closing on the call, there are things that need to be established actually like during that time. So one of those things is setting a really clear intention for the call. Is saying, so welcome X, super excited that you're on the call today. I'm going to need one thing from you at the end of this call, and that's just a decision. We work with decision makers, and because you've booked this call, you're already someone who we think is a decision maker. We really respect the fact that you've done that. However, at the end of the call, we just want a yes or a no if you're going to start with us, because we don't want to spend the time going through and chasing you up if you're not serious. They get the agreement, they say yes, and then they go from there. Now, when the person actually is going through the call, if you get to the end, you've overcome the objections, you price present, and you basically say, all right, let's get you started, and they still aren't quite there, and they're just like, look, the sign up fee or it's more than I expected, but I can do the weekly fee or whatever it might be. The easiest way for you to overcome this person is to help them out. And the way that you can do that, if you're a standalone coach, it's one way. If you work for a business, then it's another. But it's the call my manager. So if you're a coach that works underneath someone else, you say, give me a second, I'm just going to call my manager. You pause, you call them, or at least you pretend to call them and say, hey, can we take off, the starting fee and get them straight on weekly? They're going to stay for 12 weeks anyway. They say yes, and then you come back to them and say, look, I'm happy to do this awesome deal. We don't normally do this. I'm going to take off the starting fee, and then get them straight onto a weekly recurring. Yes, you lose a little bit on the front end, but it's better to lose on the front end and keep them with your service for a long time. So just remember that. And if you're a solo business owner, so if it's just you coaching and you want to find a way to, keep that element of let me do this thing for you. You can pretend to call your accountant. That's a good one. And just be like, hey, I just need to call my accountant, see where we're at, see if I can do this, blah, 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 blah. Alternatively, you can say, look, I'm willing to waive the sign-up fee if you are ready to get committed and really put everything into this, because I'd love a killer before and after testimonial. If you can give me that after 12 weeks, I'm happy to waive the sign-up fee and we just go straight into weekly payments. Most of the time, people are like, oh, I can help you out with that. And that's a really good approach. So with this in mind, the system here is just making sure, one, you're contacting people within 5 minutes. Two, you're delivering enough information between the initial inquiry call and the actual booked call to convince that person you're the right person for the job, and just making sure that's delivered consistently. When you're actually on the calls is when the money is made, essentially, and you're going to need to really focus on your sales. And if you are looking at improving your sales, I'm actually doing a guest module from this business in my school community, where they go over how to tackle sales from front to back. So if you're interested in that, feel free to join the school community in the bio below. It's coming soon. It's not quite there yet, but if you're in there and you're a fitness business owner, you will be able to learn from the best, literally from people who are doing 7 figures a year in fitness. So I hope you guys found that interesting. I will speak to you soon, and peace out.